The C1 error code on your Maytag Bravos washer typically indicates a problem with the cold water inlet valve, temperature sensor, or related components. This error often appears when the washer enters diagnostic mode. This video will guide you through fixing this issue and getting your washer back to normal. Note, this model was produced primarily between 2007 and 2016, so issues are often related to aging parts. Before troubleshooting, try a quick reset. First, unplug your Maytag Bravos washer from the power outlet. Leave it unplugged for at least 5 minutes to allow the system to fully reset. Then, plug the washer back into the outlet. As an alternative, while plugged in, press and hold the Start/Pause button for 3 to 5 seconds to exit diagnostic mode. This simple power cycling or button press can often clear the C1 error and exit diagnostic mode. If this doesn't work, proceed to the next steps. If unplugging the washer doesn't resolve the stuck C1 diagnostic mode, try forcing an exit using specific button sequences. These methods can sometimes override the stuck mode and allow normal operation. First method, while the washer is plugged in, press and hold the Start/Pause button for 3 to 5 seconds. This sequence often exits the diagnostic mode directly. Second method, press the rinse, spin, and options buttons simultaneously while powering on the washer. This re-enters the diagnostic mode, from which you can then attempt to exit normally. Both sequences may help bypass the stuck mode. If these don't work, further troubleshooting of the inlet valve may be needed. If the C1 error persists after resets, the cold water inlet valve is likely the culprit. Begin with safety precautions. First, ensure the washer is unplugged from power to avoid electrical hazards. Then, turn off the cold and hot water supply valves to prevent water flow. Now inspect the cold water inlet valve. Look for any visible debris, corrosion, or physical damage on the valve body and connections. Next, check the screen filter at the hose connection. Remove it and inspect for clogs caused by sediment or debris. Clean it thoroughly under running water using a soft brush if needed. To test water pressure and valve functionality, first verify that your home's water pressure is within the range of 20 to 120 psi. Low water pressure can trigger the C1 error. If the water pressure is adequate, plug the washer back in briefly and start a cycle. Listen to see if the valve clicks when it's supposed to fill. If it clicks but no water enters, the valve is likely faulty and needs replacement. If troubleshooting shows the cold water inlet valve is faulty, replacement is often straightforward and can be done as a DIY project. First, order a replacement valve. Look for part number W10239999 or a compatible model, which typically costs between $30 and $60 from appliance parts websites. For safety, unplug the washer from the power outlet and turn off both the hot and cold water supply valves. Also, relieve any remaining water pressure by running nearby faucets. Next, disconnect the water hoses from the valve. Use pliers to loosen the hose clamps, then carefully remove the hoses. Have towels ready to catch any residual water. Now, remove the old valve. Unscrew the mounting bracket, disconnect the electrical wires while noting their positions for reconnection, and pull the valve out of the washer housing. Install the new valve by inserting it into position, reconnecting the electrical wires to match the original colors, and securing it with the mounting bracket. Finally, reattach the hoses and tighten the clamps securely. Turn the water supply back on, plug in the washer, and run a test cycle to ensure everything works properly. For more detailed visual guidance, numerous online videos demonstrate this replacement process. Always refer to Maytag manuals and ensure all connections are secure before use. If you've tried all the previous steps and the C1 error still persists, it's time to consider professional help. The control board might be faulty, although this is rare specifically for C1 errors. Professional repair is recommended here, as replacing the control board can cost between $200 and $400. To prevent future C1 errors, regularly descale your washer using vinegar and keep the inlet valve filters clean. Note that Maytag Bravos models are now older as of 2026. Consider the repair costs versus replacing the washer when making your decision.